Hello. In this lesson, we're going to talk about Composable UI. So that's a pattern where we compose our UI by clicking on buttons and managing the state of the UI through Reflex. So in our case here, we have a grid with 4 tiles per row, and we want to add new tiles on the fly. So we need a plus button that we're gonna create in a second. And when we click the plus button, we're gonna get blank templates of embeds here in our view. So let's start by pasting in some code. I took the liberty to prepare this because Tailwind classes afford this. So basically what we're doing here is add a blank tile with a big plus button inside. And this plus button has a data reflex attribute on it that allows us to insert blank embeds here. And we pass along the port ID here with the data set. We just pause here for a second and mention that this is considered a security best practice because we're passing the port ID here in plain readable text. So in a real world scenario, you'd rather want to use a secure signed global ID, which is built into Active Record. But for the purpose of this demo, I refrained from doing that and just went with what we've got here. So I've inserted that. And there we've got our button. It just doesn't do anything yet. Let's go ahead and in a shell actually create that template reflex. It's mentioned here. Now we do not want to overwrite the application reflex. So what does that look like? It's pretty blank at the moment. Just gonna delete the boilerplate that has been inserted for us here and go back actually to our embed view. In that embed partial, we need to address a few things. First of all, we are not dealing with a persisted record anymore. Rather, we have 2 cases. Either it's a persisted record, as is the case now, or it's a new record. And in this case, we want to actually render the embeds form and pass in the blank embed. Now, you're gonna probably wonder, where does that come from? Let's give us a second to think about what we are gonna want to come up with in the end. So let's look at the board partial again. In this board partial, we are rendering a collection of embeds. Next, we also want to render actually another collection and with the same partial. This time, I'm gonna call this embed templates.